Hello everyone, I am Paul McGuire Grimes from Paul's Trip to the Movies, here with my top 10 movies of 2018. Number 10 is Roma. This is the latest cinematic achievement from Alfonso Cuarón, who wrote, directed, edited, and was his own cinematographer on this movie. It is a memory piece for him. It is a slice of life look back at his childhood. And every frame of this movie is stunning. It is gorgeous in black and white. And while you can watch it at home on Netflix, because it's one of their movies, I highly recommend going to the movie theater to go see it, to really capture everything that Alfonso Cuarón does with his camera. It also has a stunning breakthrough performance by Yalitza Aparicio, who's making her feature film debut. It is just a heartbreaking movie by the time you get to the end of it. My number 9 movie of the year is Black Panther. This is written and directed by Ryan Coogler, and not only is this one of the best movies of the year, but this is one of the best Marvel movies to date, and was the highest grossing movie of 2018. One of the many things I loved about it was its mix of African culture and tradition paired with a very contemporary techno world of Wakanda, and how both of those can live within the same universe. I love the costume design by Ruth E. Carter. The production design was stunning, and you have this fantastic cast of Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther, Michael B. Jordan as Eric Killmonger, the villain, as well as Lupita Nyong'o, Letitia Wright, Denai Guerrera, Angela Bassett, and so on. I love Black Panther. My number 8 movie of the year is If Beale Street Could Talk. This is from writer and director Barry Jenkins. It's his follow-up to Moonlight, and it's based on the book by James Baldwin, and it stars Kiki Lane and Stephan James as a young couple who are pregnant with their first child. It's 1970s Harlem, and what happens when he is accused of a crime. It also stars Regina King and Brian Tyree Henry in supporting roles, all 4 of them giving fantastic performances. And what I love about it is that Barry Jenkins really trusts his audience to just listen to the poetic nature at hand. And his performances that he gets from his actors are so exquisite that he doesn't feel the need to show some of the more graphic scenes. You know what's going on just by listening to what the actors have to say. My number 7 movie of the year is The Favorite. This is from director Yorgos Lanthimos, and it is a period piece unlike any other I've ever seen. It's about Queen Anne, who is played fantastically by Olivia Colman, who gives my favorite female performance of the year. She just is off the wall bonkers as Queen Anne, and I really think that Yorgos has really taken a page out of the Stanley Kubrick, Barry Lyndon playbook with how he shoots this movie. I felt like I was right inside the castle with Olivia Colman, as well as Emma Stone, who plays her new attendant, and then Rachel Weisz, who is her lady-in-waiting. All 3 women give some of the finest performances of the year, and how they play off of each other. It's twisted, it's manipulative, and then you may not even know what happens by the time you get to the end of the movie. It's The Favorite, number 7. My number 6 movie of the year is Hereditary. This is from writer-director Ari Aster, and this is the kind of movie that conjures nightmares. I love scary movies, and this one takes you on an unpredictable ride. Toni Collette gives another stunning performance, just leaves you shaking, and she, as the movie starts, is dealing with the tragic death of her mother, and how does she deal with death and trauma, and how does it affect her family, how do they deal with it as well. It also stars Alex Wolff as her son, Gabriel Byrne as her husband, and then Anne Dowd, who we all know from The Handmaid's Tale, plays another woman that she meets in a support group. Just when you think you know what's happening in this movie, it goes in another direction, and it is unpredictable, it is wild, it is scary, and the ending is just crazy. Hereditary. My number 5 movie of the year is Widows. This is the fantastic ensemble film from Steve McQueen, who also co-wrote the script with Gillian Flynn. So as you can expect, there's lots of twists and turns. You have Viola Davis, Elizabeth Debicki, Michelle Rodriguez playing a group of widows who have to perform this heist after all of their husbands are killed when a heist goes wrong. It also stars Colin Farrell, Brian Tyree Henry, and Robert Duvall. And what I love about what they do with this is it takes a look at how the city of Chicago specifically, and how our environment affects the choices that we make in life to survive. I really love that. Twist, turns, fantastic performances. I don't know why more people didn't go see this movie. I highly recommend it. I loved it. It's my number 5 movie of the year. I wish it'd be up for Best Picture. My number 4 movie of the year is Won't You Be My Neighbor? This is the documentary all about Fred Rogers, how he started Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and it takes a look at his life and his accomplishments and how groundbreaking he was to start this show, to then talk about heavy topics so that kids could understand them. This is a movie all about love and respect, respecting other people that may not look like you, that may not have the same life as you. And by the end of it, you will just be in tears. I was sobbing by the end of this movie, and how it reminds you of the people that you love the most and that mean the most to you in your life. I highly recommend Won't You Be My Neighbor. It'll give you a whole new respect and love for Fred Rogers. My number 3 movie of the year is Ready Player One. This is the new one from Steven Spielberg, based on the book by Ernest Cline. It is a cult favorite. It's about a kid that goes into a virtual reality world, kind of a Willy Wonka inspired storyline. It stars Ty Sheridan as Wade Watts. Parzival is his name when he goes into the virtual reality world. And what I love that Steven Spielberg does is that there's all these pop culture references in the movie, like there is in the book. But it's almost kind of about how do we step out of that? How do we live present in the moments that we're not always escaping to other mediums like music and movies and video games when there's so much great things going on in our own lives. Ready Player One, directed by Steven Spielberg, also stars Ben Mendelsohn, Olivia Cooke, and Lena Waithe, again based on the book by Ernest Cline. My number 2 movie of the year is A Star Is Born. I was blown away by what Bradley Cooper did with this story. This is the 4th iteration of A Star Is Born, and I think that this is my favorite of the 4. He makes all 3 of the storylines in this work so well. The rise of a pop star that Lady Gaga plays, his fall, his descent to addiction, and then how does their relationship is affected by all of that as well. I was so moved by Bradley Cooper's performance as an addict. He gets down to the meat and bones of what it means to be an addict, and Lady Gaga proves that she is an actress to take seriously. Yes, she's playing a pop star, but I believed every moment she was on screen what her character goes through in this movie. It also stars Sam Elliott and Andrew Dice Clay. Fantastic music that Lady Gaga wrote. Same with Bradley Cooper. Both of them have great singing voices, some great music in this. I knew what was going to happen at the ending, and I was still so moved by what Bradley Cooper did, and shows that he is a director to watch out for. And now, my number 1 movie of the year is Black Klansman. This is from Spike Lee, and it's based on a true story all about Ron Stallworth, who's played by John David Washington, who was a cop in Colorado Springs who decided to infiltrate the local chapter of the KKK. This is one of those movies that is too hard to believe is true, yet it is, and it goes you on this ride. It also shows Adam Driver as one of his fellow cops, and Topher Grace as David Duke, the head of the KKK. What Spike Lee does to make this gut-wrenching movie, this movie that kicks you in the stomach, but then also has you laughing at times, he blends both of those so well, which is really hard to do. And of course, he taps into what's going on today in the Trump administration. There's a reason why he released this movie on the 1-year anniversary of the Charlottesville riots. And by the end of it, if you are not kicked in the gut, if you are feeling nothing, then you clearly are not paying attention to what's going on in this world. John David Washington as Ron Stallworth gives a fantastic performance. He's actually the son of Denzel Washington, and he's got that swagger, that tone, that voice, and he gives one of my favorite performances of the year. So Black Klansman, my number 1 movie of the year. Again, to recap, number 10, Roma. Number 9, Black Panther. Number 8, If Beale Street Could Talk. Number 7, The Favorite. Number 6, Hereditary. Number 5, Widows. Number 4, Won't You Be My Neighbor. Number 3, Ready Player One. Number 2, A Star Is Born. And number 1, Black Klansman. I want to give a little shout out to a couple of other movies that are some honorable mentions, if you will. Mission Impossible Fallout, First Reformed, and Beautiful Boy were also fantastic movies this year that really hit me. If you liked my top 10 today, click subscribe on my YouTube channel. I have new reviews of Vice, If Beale Street Could Talk, and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Paul's Movie Trip. I'd love to hear what movies were your favorites from 2018. Which ones left a special mark in your memory from the year? Did you agree with some of my top 10, or did you hate some of my top 10 choices? I'd love to hear from you. What movies moved you this year? And then go to my website, paulstriptothemovies.com, for more reviews, as well as a link to my podcast, Paul's Trip to the Movies on Podcast One. Thank you so much for watching today.